Okay, so in this video, we're gonna go over a few things like how to end a stitch and things that you can add on, accessories, buttons, and other things that you might want to, construct to attach. Okay, things that might come off. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the knot that we just went over, the sewing spot that we just went over. Okay, so for example, if you have this. You have the whip stitch, okay? You can, and this is fine for this, is to just create a knot right at the end, all right? I know that this is not necessarily the front, and I had once before said all the messiness should be on the back, okay, or hidden the best you can, okay? But it's absolutely fine because there's not that much that you can do about this. Okay, for other knots, all right? So let's say we're sewing and I'm just going to do one stitch, okay? One running stitch. There we go. And now we're on the back. You can do two different kinds of stitches, okay? Or two different kinds of knots. One is a knot that you do with just your hand, or another is you actually sew the knot. Either way, it's fine. But ending a knot or an ending string or whatever you're going to do, you need to have a little bit left over, okay? You don't want to have it so small right here that we can't make a knot, okay? Because if those strings can be pulled up, all right, you're not going to get credit for that. So make sure that you have enough string to be able to create a knot with. If you run out of string, knot it, get new string. Do not tie it together so it's one long string. That's not what you're going to, it will prevent it from going through and it'll get caught. So you want to stop the knot, okay, stop the string, and then get a new one, start again. Okay, so let's go over, we're just going to create a knot. So this would, why we do one more, one knot, is so it makes it easier. So all you would do is create a simple knot, okay? You loop it around just like any other knot, comes through. And the only trick is you got to make sure that this twist, okay, kind of goes to the end. So what I tend to do is I kind of like hold it in place to go down, all right? And I'll create a knot at the bottom. I would suggest, if you can, do two knots so it doesn't come through, okay? So that's if you're just doing it hand. You can do a knot by sewing it, which is the same kind of concept where you're going around in a loop, but this one's a little slightly different, okay? So I'm gonna go over, and I'm sewing, like, okay, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come over and I'm like, oh, you know what? I wanna make this really cool. We're gonna make this look like eyelashes. Yeah, that sounds good. You're like, right. Okay, so come in, I'm gonna go in through that same hole, okay? Very pretty. Okay, so I'm done. I ran out of string. I want to move on. Okay, so I'm on the other side. What you want to do is you kind of want to hook it under another string. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to go under a close string. Okay, under a close string. So now I've got like this circle effect going on here. Okay, go under, because when you make a knot, you have to go through the hoop. And, oh, it's getting caught. There we go. And you're just going to pull it. And that loop that, remember how I was saying, try to get to the bottom? It's going to get caught on the other string, and you're not going to need to worry about it. Twice. Go under that original string. Okay. Oops. Okay. So now you got like this circle. Okay. Go back and through the center. And I'll catch, okay? You'll make two knots. You can, as I said, you can make it with your fingers or you can sew the knot. Both are perfect, okay? All right, I'm gonna cut this off. I wanna show you a fancy way of creating a knot, okay? This is not the technical way of how to do this. I just feel that sometimes it's a little easier. There is a knot called a French knot. It's kind of neat. So the way it kind of looks like is, it looks like a knot on the wrong side. How are these kind of useful? Well, if you're making pupils, it works, okay? All right, so the actual way to do this. All right, show you real quick. Then I'll talk about. All right, so let's say I want to make a pupil right there, or a dot. Okay, or it could be anything. It could be you put on sequins and you wanted to put it like sew it on. Okay, so I'm gonna come up through here. Ready? Make a knot on this side. I know people will probably be like, "Hey, you're making a wrong side knot." You're like, "No, no, no. I'm doing this purposefully." 1, 2. Now this is the correct way. I'm gonna give you a little cheat sheet for the other one. So, knot on this side. All right, fell off. Not a problem. Here we go. There we are. And then what you do is you actually sew right next to it. Okay, very close to it. And it comes down just like that. Pretty cool, right? So how can you cheat by doing this? Make a knot on the wrong side, make a regular knot like this. Okay? So from the wrong side, cut it real short. Looks like the same thing, right? Yeah. So you could do it either way. Either way is fine with me. Okay, so other things that we're going to talk about are things that you can add on. If you want to add in, let's say, a button, you could. You just have to borrow a different size needle, okay? And for most buttons, when you look at them, okay, I'm going to talk about drawing it. So this is my button. Okay, they tend to have like 4 holes. What you want to do is you want to come up through the one, cross over, then come up to the other one and cross in. Okay, if you have like a sequin or like something that has like a little hole, so those like little shiny things, you would sew up through the hole. Okay, make a knot, and you go back in. Okay, which is absolutely fine. Those are easy. If you were building something, all right, so for example, you want to make like a bow, all right, you actually sewed a bow. Let's say this is a piece of fabric or whatever. You can just attach it in one spot so you have areas that are loose, okay? You can even make, let's see, I'm trying to think of what else might be good. A flower. Okay, where you just sew the center and the rest comes up filling. These tend to be called like knottins, things that are pop up off of it. Okay, now a couple little details, a couple little things that you might want to know is when you're designing your project. Okay, lay out everything, design your pattern, make sure you have everything all organized. Know what needs to be sewn. So for example, if you're making a bag, okay, have all the things kind of like measured out, so, and you know where everything is. If you're making a doll of some sort, you want to make sure that everything is, kind of looks like a snowman, symmetrical, okay? Also, fabric is kind of hard to cut, so when you're cutting, make sure you cut with the back end of the scissors, okay? The very, very end of the scissors, all right? Don't cut up here. Cut in the back, small little snips, okay? All right, other than that, make sure everything stays in your folder, in your Ziploc bag. You pin your needle, okay? It always stays pinned, you don't lose it, and you should be fine.